Do you like cute wolves wagging their tails and just being all around adorable? Do you like cute anime girls that act like they are dead inside, when in fact they're down horrendous for a guy that is as dense as a 4-inch tungsten cube? No? Well, first of all, you're weird. And second, I certainly do. Fuyuko, nicknamed the Wolf Girl, is a loner. A familiar feeling for all of us, I'm sure. But unlike us, she does actually possess social skills. She just doesn't put them to use for the simple reason that she doesn't like people. Excluding her 2 girlfriends that she can just about tolerate, the only person that has permission to get close to Fuyuko is Makiba, the boy she wants to start a family with in her spare time. She constantly tries showing her love for him the best she can, but Makiba is not the sharpest tool in the shed when it comes to picking up on signals, which more often than not leads to Makiba calling her a bro for her unusually nice behavior that she only has towards him. Fuyuko and her posse are having lunch, when Sumika suddenly asks Fuyuko if there is anyone she would like to have unprotected hand-holding with. Fuyuko seems kind of shook by that question, not realizing she's trying to drink through a face mask. She continues saying that she's just never heard Fuyuko talk about stuff like that and is curious. And so is Rinka, actually. They ask her if she's ever fallen for a guy at all. The only thing Fuyuko can publicly admit is that she said she was going to marry her father when she was little. In grade school, she hated boys because they were loud, and in middle school, she couldn't even talk to girls, let alone boys. Seeing how far she's come since then, they both give her a big old hug and say that it's all right. She now at least has the 2 of them. Fuyuko is not really popular with the boys, or the girls for that matter, considering the fact that she looks like she's about to decimate you and your entire family if you look at her for more than 1 second. Though in her case, looks are deceiving. Sumika suddenly recalls something though. Lately, Fuyuko has been getting suspiciously friendly with Makiba. Upon hearing Makiba's name, Fuyuko gets a mild heart attack, but of course keeps her cool face to not give anything away. She tries stalling and dragging out the conversation while thinking of some way out, and that's when Sumika hits her with a bomb, the Oppenheimer special even. She says that maybe they're already going out behind everyone's back. At this point, Fuyuko is flatlining from the Makiba lover allegations. She freezes up for a bit and just says that they're not going out. There's no way she's beating the allegations like this. Just then, the man of the hour himself walks in and tells Rinka that she's sitting in his chair and would appreciate her not sitting in his chair anymore. Completely disregarding that request, Rinka asks him if he wants to talk about love with the 3 of them. For some reason, Makiba woke up a bit fruity today. He sits down and starts talking about having a teeny tiny crush on a senpai from the soccer club, trying to make fun of the way girls usually talk about love. Sumika and Rinka didn't appreciate the comedic genius that is Makiba though. Sumika tells him that he should commit seppuku, and Rinka says that she regrets inviting him to their love talk. A bit harsh if you ask me. The bell rings and the 2 girls take off. Sadly, Makiba couldn't talk about his actual love life. He turns to Fuyuko and apologizes because he ruined their vibe, but she wasn't really vibing at all from the very beginning, so it's fine. He says that they should seriously talk about love the next time they all get together, but Fuyuko says she's going to pass. After all, the only thing she could talk about is how much she'd want to have Makiba's children, a public execution to say the least. Although she does like the idea of hearing about Makiba's love life from him, something apparent from her cute little tail wag. It's lunch break and Rinka has just pulled up on the 2 girls. She saw a BuzzFeed personality test and wants to try it out with them. They try asking what brought this on, but Rinka marches to the beat of her own drums, so she just goes on with the first question. That being, someone you just met dislikes something about you. What is that thing? Number 1, you're an alcoholic. Number 2, you disagree with them on everything, so you're kind of an asshole. And 3, you're obsessed with brand clothes. Sumika says 2, and Fuyuko of course couldn't care less, so she passes. Unfortunately for her, refusing to answer the question means you have 0 sociability. Sounds kind of familiar, I wonder why. If you were wondering what the answers were, here you go. If you picked 1, you're an extrovert, so I guess none of you picked that. If you picked 2, you're the same as Sumika, that being that you only open up to others once you've gotten to know them. And finally 3, you never open up to anyone. Makiba walks in with Momori, one of his friends. Now don't get me wrong, I'm the straightest guy you'll ever see. but Momori does look kinda hot. Getting away from that, history seems to repeat itself because Rinka is again sitting in Makiba's chair. Her argument this time around is that school property belongs to everyone, which, I mean, fair enough. Rinka asks them if they'd like to join in on the personality test. Makiba is obviously down, but Momori wants nothing to do with it. I guess we know what type Momori is. Here comes the second question now featuring Makiba. A ferry boat leaves its port. How many toots does it make and how long does each one last? Sumika says one tiny toot cause more would be annoying. Makiba says that a grand fanfare would be in order for such an occasion. Fuyuko, this time wanting to play the game with Makiba, says that one long blast would be good. Well, this question correlates to how often and deeply you want to kiss your loved one. Leave your answers in the comments section. Makiba is immediately labeled as a pervert for his answer. Meanwhile, Fuyuko is on the other side, having a panic attack just imagining keeping up with Makiba's fanfare request. It's the next morning, and Fuyuko runs into Sumika, who tells her that a guy from the next door class wants her number. She of course denies such pathetic attempts at a pickup, plus she also wants to keep her info as private as possible. Kind of hard in today's day and age, especially with the spyware that is TikTok. Upon entering the classroom, she hears Makiba bragging to Momori about his new smartphone, who couldn't give less of a damn really. Makiba then catches Fuyuko and also lets her know about his new phone. She responds with exactly the same words as Momori, but in a warmer tone. Makiba then tells Momori that he should be more like Fuyuko. Momori couldn't hear a single difference between what the two of them said though, so Makiba prompts both of them to say it again. Makiba could hear an obvious difference, but Momori is still oblivious. Seeing as things aren't working out with Momori, Makiba threatens to break up with him, though Momori just wishes him good luck on finding another partner. Momori turns to Fuyuko and says that she should be upfront with Makiba when he's being annoying. But Fuyuko would give every penny on God's green earth away just for the opportunity of touching Makiba, and as such, she says that she doesn't mind it. Makiba then asks Fuyuko to exchange numbers with him since he has a new phone. She tries playing it cool asking why, at which Makiba responds that it's just because he doesn't have hers, after which she hands him her phone to type his info into. Classes are over and she is headed home. She gets inside, goes up the stairs and enters her room. Only God knows how she was able to contain her excitement of finally having Makiba's number. She is wagging her tail with her phone in hand, wondering if it's okay for her to just send him a message. Bonus: this is Makiba's profile picture. The next day, Fuyuko is on her way to school with her very stylish bag. She notices Makiba also walking to school half asleep in front of her. Excited at this opportunity of walking to school together, she pulls out a mirror from her bag and starts checking her hair to make sure she's in tip-top shape for her dear Makiba. She approaches him saying good morning with an unprecedented amount of riz. Bro is of course as dense as tungsten, so he just waves good morning back, though I'm sure he definitely felt something after seeing her looking this cute. Fuyuko is leaving the classroom to go get something to eat. Sumika stops her and says that she also wants to tag along. But no dice, Fuyuko shuts her down. She wants to eat alone today. Sumika then asks Rinka if she wouldn't like to eat lunch with Fuyuko, at which she says yes. She says that it's fine if Rinka comes. Sumika's big mouth is not to Fuyuko's liking, it seems. They are going down the hallway talking about how it has sure gotten warmer because of spring. While talking about the spring bugs, a butterfly flies in and lands on Sumika's head. She comes closer to Fuyuko to show her the butterfly, but Fuyuko backs off. Sumika teases her a little, saying that she doesn't remember Fuyuko being scared of some little bugs. Fuyuko is stoic. She says that she just doesn't care about them. It's best that they don't cross paths, since there's nothing to gain from that. Sumika has just heard Fuyuko talk a little bit more than usual and accuses her of the cardinal sin of capping. The punishment for such an offense is that Fuyuko has to go find a spot for the three of them while Sumika and Rinka buy some drinks. She finds a nice bench and sits down. While sipping on her juice and daydreaming about Makiba, what would you know? A butterfly shimmy yas on her head. She was indeed capping earlier. The big bad wolf is absolutely terrified of bugs, especially flying ones. While quantum locked in time and space, Makiba sees her and comes to say hi. but he notices that Fuyuko looks like she's having a panic attack. The absolute Chad that is Makiba notices the butterfly on her head and gently picks the guy up and lets him fly away. Not wanting to bother her more after that traumatic experience, he says that he knew that she was scared of bugs, waves goodbye, and takes off. Fuyuko is still paralyzed, but this time, half of it is embarrassment from the fact that the guy she loves saw her scared of a bug, and the other half is ecstasy because the guy she loves touched her head. The wolf-tail is equally confused as well. The three girls are in sports class playing basketball, although it seems that Fuyuko is the only one that's going to be actually playing. As a trade-off, Rinka offers to be Fuyuko's personal cheerleader instead of actually playing. From behind them out pops Makiba hanging around Momori's neck. Makiba got a little too heated during his table tennis match apparently and twisted his ankle. He asks what sport the girls have today. Sumika says that they are playing basketball, well at least Fuyuko is. Rinka and her are on cheer duty. Makiba figures he might as well join them on the cheerleading and sits down saying that he does like sports quite a bit, but he's really clumsy. He says he admires the people who have good reflexes. Upon hearing this, Fuyuko takes off her jersey, ready to bust some moves. She says she's going to give it her all while giving the three cheerleaders something to cheer for. Fuyuko is on the floor absolutely bawling. LeBron James himself wishes he could play as good as Fuyuko right now. Of course, her efforts don't go unrewarded. Makiba calls her cool, which is the only thing she really cares about. Makiba and Momori are both in class, when Makiba suddenly says that today, he's going to have a glow-up and become cool. Momori asks what happened that makes him say that. He says that he's now in high school, and it's about time that he changed. But Momori's on some hater shit. He says that it was over before it even began for him. Fuyuko walks in and greets them. Makiba asks her what he should do to become cooler. She says that maybe he should settle down, although she doesn't say with who. Makiba's biggest op, Momori, again says that it would be impossible for this guy. Makiba asks what's wrong with Momori today since he's so negative and asks him for an idea instead. Momori had a very good idea in mind. Literally taping his mouth shut. A bit kinky, if I might add. Fuyuko then asks why he'd want to become cooler all of a sudden. He says that it's just because it's cool to be cool. But she says that she doesn't think there's any reason for him to force himself. In her eyes, he's already fine the way he is. Makiba comes to his senses and thanks her for showing him the right path, while Momori calls her cool. But of course, Fuyuko would like any variety of Makiba,